5:59.
Hey, good evening. It is Friday, and you know what that means. It is another fantastic Friday with beef from our friends at the Colorado Beef Council. I'm Chef Jason, honored to, as always, work with the Colorado Beef Council. And we have a special guest tonight that we were going to introduce you to in just a minute. But first and foremost, if you're looking for tonight's recipe, or you need some great recipe ideas, some fun facts, some tips, or you want to find where you can buy local beef, head over to cobeef.com, Colorado Beef Council's website. Click on the tab that says cooking. Under that tab, you get all of our recipes and more. And then also you can find the dealer locator map, right? That's going to let you in on all the farmers and ranchers here in Colorado that have amazing beef to put in your fridge, your belly, on your table, and more. Are you ready to meet our special guest tonight? Yeah. Kate, take it away.
Oh, thank you, Chef Jason. My name is Kate. I am the consulting dietitian for the Colorado Beef Council, and I am here tonight to talk a little bit about American Heart Month. February is Heart Month, and we have chosen a American Heart Association approved recipe that we're talking about tonight. And so I am excited to be with you and to represent the beef farmers and ranchers of Colorado.
Yeah, and we're excited to have you. We don't have a lot of guests here, so it's always nice. We've had 2 guests this week in the same week, which is crazy. But so I remember years ago as a younger chef, 23 lean cuts of beef, and now
there's 36.
36.
So yeah, it has, really from a collective effort through the entire supply chain, from the breeding to the feeding, then to the processing and cutting of the animal. There's now 36 lean beef cuts available at the grocery store that people can choose from.
Yeah.
And we want them to feel confident in going into the grocery store and knowing that there are lean choices to pick from.
Yeah. And I just turned 50 this year. Last year I turned 50. And, you feel like invincible, right? I'm a guy, you feel like you're invincible, and you realize as you get older, things affect you differently. I can't handle as much fat in my diet as I used to. And it's really wild because I've never been I didn't prefer, I should say, a filet. But I find myself eating more because they're a little bit leaner, a little bit softer. I love a ribeye, right? But I had a ribeye the other night for dinner. I ate half.
Yeah, and that's, kind of what we like to talk about is, when you're looking at options to have at home, you want to look for round or loin in the cut name.
Yep.
And, really look at about a 3-ounce serving. It's going to provide 170 calories. And then also all of those 10 essential nutrients, protein, iron, zinc, your B vitamins. But when we're talking about like the definition of lean, and you're wanting to make sure it's fitting into your macros, if that's what you're tracking, or, your calories, the definition of lean per the USDA is that cut of meat, about 3 ounces, 170 calories, providing less than 10 grams of fat, which is, definitely on the lower end. It's going to be less than or equal to 4.5 grams of saturated fat, and then contain less than 95 milligrams of cholesterol. And so we want people to be confident in knowing that there are options to choose if they're wanting to still include beef into a heart-healthy
and there's a lot of options.
There's a lot of options.
I mean, you brought 2 pages of different cuts, from tri-tip to New Yorks to sirloin steaks, flank steak, which is what we're doing tonight. And it's amazing too, because everybody always thinks like low fat means it's terrible, it's going to be dry. And really what it boils down to, when you have a lower fat item, it's all about cooking.
Sure, and
right?
I'd love
how
to know
you cook it.
More about
that. Don't forget too, if you have questions and comments, leave them in the comment section. My beautiful wife Annie is manning the camera, womaning the camera tonight. She is keeping us, as in control as she can. It's like herding.
She runs a tight ship.
Yeah, she does run a tight ship. Any questions, comments, hostilities?
Not yet.
All right, cool. Anybody we need to say hi to?
Yes, let's say hi to Marianne Ulrich.
Nice, Marianne.
Charlene Blackburn Swain.
Nice.
And Teresa Himmelstein.
Love it. So,
Good one.
One of the things we were talking about was top sirloin steaks.
Yes.
And I know people get them and they're like, I had a top sirloin steak, but it was dry. But it's okay because it was lean. And I always look at cooking methods, because even though it has a little bit less fat, you can still, just with a little bit of oil, get a really good sear on it, whether you're cooking hotter and faster. I feel like people always ask me, like, why is it dry? Why is it chewy? And if we cook how they normally cook, and I think sometimes when we grill, it's as simple as heat the grill up, and then once they put the meat on, they turn it down because they don't want to burn it. And I'm more of the mindset, the hotter you start and continue throughout the cooking process and end, the more moisture you're going to lock in there. I mean, it's natural to lose some moisture in the cooking process anyways. Sure. I always feel like you lose about 10%. So if you're eating, like people ask me on burgers too, how do I get, if I do a 93.7, like, they're really, really dry. Sure, because when you cook, you lose about 10% fat. So I always recommend kind of an 80-20, getting you to a 90-10. But the same on those sirloin steaks. Like, cook them hotter, cook them faster. You're going to lock a lot more moisture in.
And I think that's what's great about this recipe
Yeah.
that we chose tonight
Yeah.
is because you really have incorporated some different ingredients to help like seal in the moisture.
Yeah.
And so, and it really, this is kind of the epitome of what a dietitian loves to promote as
Yep.
far as a heart
Yeah.
healthy, meal. And so I'm excited to, be able to try it. I'm excited that you chose this. And I think, it really does a nice job of encompassing the whole grains and the peas, along with, I would recommend serving this. When we get to that point, I'll give you some other little tips. But the other thing that I wanted to share is even though we're kind of focusing on, the 36 lean cuts of beef that are available, I want people to know that really any cut of beef can fit into a healthy eating pattern. It's really what you pair with it,
Yep.
how you prepare it.
Yep.
And so just recognizing, that, and recognizing that oftentimes when people choose beef, it's because it's got an amazing flavor profile.
Yeah, and
there's-
I always have people say, obviously we, in the barbecuing and grilling world, it's all about that center of plate. It's about the beef. It's about the pork. It's about this big, huge cut of whatever. And people always say, like, good Lord, man, eat some vegetables. I love vegetables.
Yeah.
Like zucchini and squash. I absolutely love zucchini and squash. I love fresh broccoli. So maybe sometimes what you don't see on chef's plates or barbecue guys' plates is the vegetable
Sure.
component, but brown rice. I love brown rice. I love peas. Could serve this with a salad, so
Absolutely.
you get a pretty well-rounded meal out of this, and not, you can keep it. Just because it's heart healthy, it doesn't mean it's not tasty,
Or that it's boring.
right?
Yeah,
Absolutely.
it doesn't have to be boring.
And I will tell you, years ago, I probably thought like heart healthy meant boring,
Sure.
but not at all.
Sure.
Yeah.
We've come a long way.
Right? I love it.
We've come
All
a
right,
long way.
so let's go out. Let's pull this cut of beef quick. You want to head to the grill?
Yeah.
All right, let's go to the grill. We have got this cooking on our pellet grill tonight. Just trying to get. Can you see all right?
Yep.
All right. So look at
Smells
that.
amazing. Wish you could all be here to.
We've got that just coming off the grill. We grilled some onions as well. Let me pull these out. I just want to kind of show you where we are at, and then we're going to show you kind of how we got here, right?
Grab this.
Look at that.
It's good.
Smells good too. All right, let's head back in.
Do you want to grab the rice?
We're going to leave it for
Leave
just
the
a
rice.
minute.
Okay.
All right.
Sorry for the door slam.
Yeah, let it rest shut. All right, so we're gonna let this rest, but like you were saying, it doesn't have to be.
No.
This is like, it smells amazing.
Oh, it smells so great. And the onions just like kind of bring it all together.
Yep. All right, so talk a little bit about Heart Month, Heart Healthy Month.
Yeah, so February, is kind of known nationwide as American Heart Month. There's a lot of information just on, the importance of exercise, the importance of diet. We have 20 American Heart Association approved recipes on beef equipment for dinner. So we just chose one, but there are 20 on there. They really range. So like tonight's meal is around 300 calories, provides 35 grams of protein. That's an amazing amount
a lot
of
of protein. Yeah.
For relatively
Yeah.
small calories.
Yeah.
I mean, 300 calories, 35 grams of protein. So, yeah.
Flank steak,
She's a
lean cut of beef.
Yes.
Even though, and you and I talked about this earlier, this is choice, which is good marbling, abundant moderate marbling, but it's still got a lot of flavor.
Yeah.
And it's lean.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah. It's awesome. And it's, it's just a matter of, I think, just educating people, taking that fear away. We don't need to be fearful, and just giving them that confidence to, know what to look for and to be confident in, again, no matter what type of beef that they choose,
Yep.
they can pair it with, plans, they can watch the portion sizes, but if they're really interested in those leaner cuts, those 36 cuts that, really offer a lot of variety, and a lot of choice. So it's awesome.
36 is
36.
crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, literally 2 pages of cuts.
Yeah.
Filet,
Yeah.
tri-tip.
Tri-tip,
I mean,
which-
tri-tip is amazing. Tri-tip has such just amazing flavor. And then heart health is obviously, yes, we're talking beef, but we're also talking fat. We're talking sodium. There's a lot that goes
And
into
that's
heart
the
health.
other thing I think with beef is the fact that it just has this great flavor profile that oftentimes you don't need a lot of salt or seasoning with it. you know, it really kind of carries itself as far as being a flavor powerhouse. And so it's just one of those where this is a fun recipe. It kind of gives it, you know, kind of a little cultural flair, which kind of is tying into our National Nutrition Month as well. And again, I mean, it really is kind of a meal all in one. By the time you have the flank steak, you've got your yogurt, your peas, you know, your brown rice, and again, just like you said, serve it with a side salad, and you are set.
And I love brown rice. It's nutty, it's crunchy, and then the flavors that we have. We might as well talk about what we're adding. Let's go ahead and do it. So we're doing some Greek yogurt. I love Greek yogurt. It's like tart. It's got a really good flavor in it. It's creamy. It's delicious. Then we're adding some of those international flavors. We have a little garam masala, which is kind of that Indian flavor. We have some toasted granulated garlic we're adding in there. And then just a seasoning with some paprika and stuff in it, nothing major. And then I'm adding a little bit of water in here as well. But, I mean, that's it. Like, it doesn't get much easier than that as far as the sauce goes. And then this is kind of doubling up as the marinade and the sauce. Sure. So what we're going to show you kind of how to marinate it. And then, I'll show you how not to get on your coat. And then what we did, you and I talked about this, and we decided you can kind of, what do you want me to do, dear?
Back of the bowl there.
What are you talking about? Hold on a second.
You want to make sure
Hold on.
not wasting anything.
Any questions, bud?
No questions yet.
All right, it's awfully quiet. It's Friday.
I know. Maybe everybody was tired.
Could
It was
be.
kind of a short week with
it was.
President's
Yeah, it
Day
was.
on Monday.
Was that this week?
It
That
was.
was Monday,
I
yeah.
know it seems like it's a short week, but then a very long week all at the same time.
mean,
if that makes any sense.
I had a lot of work this week. It felt like a long week, right? So that's it. And then what you and I were talking about earlier, what you can do with this, you're supposed to use about a third of it as the rub or the marinade, and then save about 2/3 of it to heat up to make the sauce. And you and I were kind of talking like, we're gonna leave it cold.
Yeah, I didn't love the idea of hot yogurt.
Yeah,
I don't
and you could totally do it, but the beauty of this recipe is you can alter it.
Yes.
We're not changing any of the ingredients which would affect heart health or anything. We're just changing a little bit of what we get as an end result.
Preparation, yes.
All right, so we're gonna add a little bit of that.
And this said that this could marinate for like up to 6 hours.
Yeah.
Or really, but that also wasn't necessary. I mean, you can do that if you want to prepare it ahead
Yep.
of time, like in the morning, but if you're, short on time, I think you can just put it on there and still
go.
really get a unique, flavor profile for sure.
Just let it go. It's not. You don't have to be clean. Just put your gloves on. It's okay to be a little messy, right? Like
Absolutely.
Have your kids help you with that one?
Can what?
Oh yeah.
Could have your
They
kids
would
help you
love
with that part?
You could, yeah, if you wanted to.
Well, they like to get messy.
Not get messy, right? Got it on my sleeve somehow. So that's it, pretty much just like that. We're just gonna leave this on here, and again, you could leave it go for 6 hours. We marinated ours for about an hour. We just let that sit on there for about an hour, and then again, when you talk about, well, let's get this out here. Let's put this in the fridge. When we talk about heart health, that's one of the things we chatted about was how are we going to keep this juicy and delicious? We cook this at 500 degrees. So we seared this off hot and fast, and look at that.
Yeah.
I mean, that is definitely juicy for sure.
Absolutely.
And it's super easy. I mean, it's not a hard recipe. Then we cut up some onions, some red onions into planks. I didn't salt them. I didn't season them.
Just put them straight on the grill.
Yeah, I sprayed them with a little pan spray.
Okay.
Which is really, I mean, what do they say on the back? It adds a trivial amount of fat,
Yeah.
nothing. Because red onions are sweet, and we're just grilling them to bring out that sweetness.
So would you be able to like just saute them as
Yeah,
well?
totally.
Okay. So,
And you could, if you want, if you're worried about heart health, you could spray your pan. If you have a nonstick pan and you spray it with pan spray, yes, you can saute. Is it going to be traditional like you did in butter oil? No, it's going to be different, but you're still going to get that caramelization of the onion, which brings out some of the sugar, and you're not having to add a lot of salt to it.
So do you see, I mean, I would assume like this would be great with broccoli. Like if you wanted to switch out the peas, some kids don't like peas, some adults don't like peas. But I honestly think, I love really just how colorful it is.
Yeah.
I mean, it's very visually appealing, which, is always great. But I'm thinking really any other vegetable
Broccoli would be
great.
Fantastic. Brussels sprouts, Brussels sprout
peppers would be
those,
awesome.
Those mini sweet peppers that you could throw on your grill and grill off or roast off, and they're so delicate and sweet that I don't even take the seeds out.
Yeah.
You just grill them and eat them, and you're done. So, and then what we're doing too is we're using some of that convenience. Yeah.
Okay.
We're using some of the convenience brown rice that you get in the little 90-second bag.
Oh, yeah.
And all I did was put rice and peas in a pan. I added a little bit of water for moisture, and then I popped that on the grill too. So I kind of multitasked on the grill where I heated up the rice and the peas while we were heating up the steak. So go ahead and talk heart health. I'm going to run and grab the peas and the rice. And I'll be right back.
Yeah, so, just kind of as we had said again, just really making sure that people are confident in being able to choose lean cuts, recommending, again, when you're cooking at home, keeping, about a 3-ounce portion, which is about the size of your palm, the size of a deck of cards, and really, being confident in the fact that you've got 36 choices. Visit with, your individuals at the meat counter for their recommendations. Always go to either our website, cobeef.com for additional recipe ideas, or of course, Beef It's What's for Dinner. And, just recognizing that there's a lot of myths and misperceptions about, beef in a heart healthy or even in a healthy diet, and really recognizing that, you can still consume this. When we're talking about consuming beef daily, sometimes we kind of want to change that narrative a little bit to really recommend something, that's maybe a little bit lower in fat, alongside, a nice salad. Can you splurge and, have everything in moderation?
Yes.
Absolutely. I think you did that patty melt last month,
I did,
which was amazing. I mean, you can't beat a great patty melt.
Yep.
But when we're talking and really encouraging people to consume beef daily, we really want to kind of recognize that this is what we're encouraging, and kind of change that narrative and recognize that people, eat beef in a variety of ways, and it's so versatile, and that's what makes it great and so exciting. But oftentimes people like to really celebrate with it as well.
Yep.
And when you celebrate, you can overindulge, which also is a-okay. But when you're wanting, to still have that great flavor profile and make sure that you're trying to put your health first, beef is an awesome choice for that.
Yeah, it was just interesting the other night when we went to a steakhouse, and I was eyeing the 30-ounce cut and the tomahawk or the cowboy steak or the bone-in New York, and all of a sudden I'm like, well, I'm gonna get prime rib. It's rendered off a little bit of the fat. It's gonna be a little bit leaner. It's a smaller cut. And again, the guy I was eating dinner with was like, Chef, seriously? And I'm like, yeah, you know what? Like, as I get older, as I'm getting older, I just realize what I could, like, your body tells you what you can and can't tolerate. And I find myself more times than not now craving a little bit leaner, because I just, it affects me differently. I'm not sure why.
And so with that, you were talking about you cut half of it and brought the other half home, which is always a wonderful recommendation if you're eating out, and the portion sizes tend to just be larger. But what would you recommend then? You're out at a restaurant, you bring half of it home. How do you recommend cooking it the next day so that you can still enjoy it, and maybe keep some of that moisture in there, or not dry it out?
So look, this is how we cooked this. We cooked it medium, and I didn't cook people always have that misconception. Oh, it's a fillet; it's got to be medium rare. You cook to your desired doneness.
Sure.
That's the best part. Even though this is leaner, it's not dried out. It's still just as juicy as can be, and we cooked it medium. Now, if I was bringing this home, I may wrap it in a little bit of foil and warm it up just a little bit in the oven or on my grill.
Sure.
Easy to do it, but I'll tell you, I have a feeling this cold tomorrow on a salad would be
cold
great.
Would be perfect.
Or even cold in a tortilla. So I think there's a lot of different ways to enjoy it, to reheat it, and just make sure you're not. If you reheat it super hot and fast, you're going to dry it out. If you reheat it, maybe you put your oven at 350 degrees, you put this in foil, it has that moisture in it, and it slowly warms up. Remember, it's already cooked, so you're really only reheating it to 140 degrees to enjoy it warm or whatever. But
what about microwaving?
You could microwave. The issue on the microwave is the microwave tends to get that moisture to explode to heat things up, and it'll dry it out. Not dry it out. It'll overcook it. It'll gray it out a little bit, and it'll leach a lot of moisture out into it.
It won't be quite as appealing.
Will not be. I always prefer put it in foil, put it in the oven. Put it in foil, put it on the grill.
Well, and
or eat it cold.
This recipe, 2 pounds of flank steak, that's a lot of meat. So you figure you're maybe fixing it. It serves 8 people.
Yep.
So, my thought is, I'm thinking, all right, you might have a little bit of leftover flank steak. You might have a little bit leftover brown rice. Yep. So, if you're serving it with a salad, really being able, we talk a lot about cooking once and eating twice.
Yes.
This is perfect.
Yeah.
For you and Annie, even maybe for, your family of 4, this might be too much. But then you can have it, in the morning. Let's talk about, ways to incorporate beef into breakfast. So you could maybe do, something along those lines, or definitely, as far as leftovers for lunch.
We had sloppy. What? Go ahead.
I was going to say that's exactly what Tammy said.
Yeah,
Burrito.
we had sloppy joes the other night. I made sloppy joes here for a video. It was 2 pounds of ground beef, and I was like, I don't think that's going to be enough. But when we got home and we all ate, I found it's hard for me to only cook 2 pounds. You know what I mean? Like, I want to make 20 pounds. Annie's laughing because she knows we always have like 1 million pounds of leftovers. But it was nice because we didn't have a lot left over. And what we had, I was like, okay, I'm going to put this in a tortilla. So I put a tortilla down, I laid it on there, I microwaved it just to warm it up, not to have it explode in the microwave, and then I ate a little taco. A little sloppy Joe taco.
Perfect, yeah. I wish you guys could smell this flank steak. It just smells amazing.
So here's our peas and rice. Oh, man. I have a friend who despises peas.
Oh.
He's like, peas, gross, get those away from me.
So can I tell you something really embarrassing?
Yeah.
Like, it's going to be embarrassing, and I cannot believe I'm telling you this.
Well, you're just an FYI.
I know, to everybody. So speaking of peas, last night, I kind of had a busy day. I got home from work, and nobody would decide what they wanted for dinner. And my son loves scrambled eggs.
Yep.
So I was like, well, I've got some scrambled eggs, and then like he's halfway through. I made kind of a breakfast for dinner. He's halfway through, and he's like, I really want some peas. And I was like, well, sure, buddy. So I like warmed him up some peas, and his meal really consisted of, scrambled eggs and peas, which, as a dietitian. But you know what? Listen, it was scrambled eggs, some protein.
Right.
I had a little leftover beef that I put in with there as well.
Yep.
We had peas. We had some toast. We had milk. I mean, it was really kind of,
everything.
But but it did really make my mom. She's visiting, and she's like, yeah, that's interesting. I would never have thought. But I was like, you know what?
You're like, hey,
whatever
you're in the mood for.
If I have a 6-year-old who's going to request peas, I'm going to make those peas,
Absolutely.
And we're going to enjoy it.
So we'll add the brown. Now, the cool thing is, again, it's hard for chefs not to season everything because we're always so heavy-handed with seasoning. This is nothing. We didn't add anything to it.
No,
it's
nothing.
the brown rice. It's the peas. Because we've got a lot of really good flavors on the rice that we want to bring out, and then we've got some sweetness on those red onions as well. Throw those guys down there, right? But I mean, that's simple, right? Super easy. You want to try a little bit? We have to quality control.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Absolutely. Thank you.
So we've got those Indian flavors.
Oh.
It's not
That's
bad at all,
exceptional.
right?
That's exceptional. And it is so moist.
Yeah, and it's easy.
It's very
And it
moist.
was very easy. Oh, I forgot our sauce. I wanted to show you what we did with the sauce because we did it. So the sauce that you could do it to, it said heat it. Kind of heat this up a little bit and reduce it. But we left it like that because I thought, oh man, this is going to be like perfect. Take a little bit of that yogurt with some of that garam masala in there and go right on top.
Looks beautiful.
Would you eat that for dinner, babe?
I would. I'm going to.
Oh, you're going to.
She's like, not would I? I am going to.
And again,
I'm going to make it a reality.
like I said years ago, when I remember when we did some stuff with Colorado Beef Council National Cattlemen's, and everybody it was like heart healthy seminars, and chefs are notoriously a little bit robust, right? And we're all sitting there like heart healthy, come on. But as you get older and as you have kids, it's like okay, you can't always eat a tomahawk for dinner.
Right.
Like if you ate a tomahawk every night for dinner, there would be issues.
There would be issues.
There would totally be issues,
But
and this is nice because it gives you great balance and.
And if you want to incorporate beef into what you're eating daily, this is the way to do it. This is a perfect example of that. So.
And you can repurpose this for like the flank steak. You can repurpose for everything, like we said, tacos.
Absolutely.
You could chop it up and do a little beef salad. Toss it with some balsamic. Toss it with some tomatoes and mozzarella. Have a nice little like Italian cup salad or something you could take on the road with you while you're driving.
Yeah.
A lot of different solutions. So, well, next month. First of all, thank you for hanging
Oh
out
my
with us
gosh,
and joining
thank you
us.
for having me.
Next
It was
month we're
joy.
talking what? National Nutrition Month.
National Nutrition Month. So each March is National Nutrition Month, and so again, just lots of information on the nutritional profile of beef. Beef is really a nutritional powerhouse.
It is.
So the fact that you 3 ounces, around 170 calories, 10 essential nutrients, and we're talking about things that are really, really, important. We know the importance of protein. We know the importance of B vitamins.
Yep.
To help maintain our
Iron,
brain
everything.
function. Iron.
Yep. I eat beef specifically for that minerally irony flavor. Like I crave that. I can tell when I haven't had enough beef because like right back there, I feel like I'm like, oh man, I'm hungry for that iron and minerally flavor, and yeah.
Yeah, and so this is one of those. So National Nutrition Month, the theme is
World of Flavors.
World of Flavors. I've looked at
World
it
of
a million
Flavors.
times. Thank you. We talked about it. World of Flavors. And so this is one that really kind of is a nice transition into National Nutrition Month. Again, on Beef It's What's for Dinner, they have an entire section, Beef Around the World,
Yeah.
where they feature recipes, like from, gosh, we did one from Mongolia a couple weeks ago. And so they have a nice variety. Again, a lot of them, really fitting that, nutritional profile that we're talking about, considering leaner cuts of beef, and really, just offering some variety. And beef, as we said, is so versatile.
Yeah.
So being able to sometimes, think outside the box and really celebrate how beef is, really eaten all over the world is awesome.
And the nice thing about beefitswhatsfordinner.com is, let's say you've identified those 36 lean cuts of beef, and you're like, top sirloin steak. What do I do? You can go into the search engine on
Absolutely.
Beef It's What's for Dinner and .com and type in top sirloin steak, and it'll bring up the butcher shop view of it, and it'll tell you where it came from on the animal. It'll give you its nutritional data, the nutritional panel, all of that. Keep scrolling, and all of a sudden, here's all the recipes. And that's the beauty of that website, and sealbeef.com too. Both those things, great ways to get in there and say, oh man, what am I going to do with this? And you click on it, next thing you know.
Yeah,
You have a good
and
recipe.
to kind of, just talk a little bit about the research, being the dietitian. That's the other thing is, there are resources both on our website, so www.cobeef.com, and the Beef It's What's for Dinner, that really highlights. There's more than 20 clinical studies that feature and really highlight how beef can be a part of a, a healthy diet.
Yep.
And so again, it's, recognizing that we're talking about lean, unprocessed red meat. We're pairing that with fruits, vegetables, whole grains. But if people really want to see the research, it is there, for them to be able to look at the BOLD study. So beef in an optimal lean diet. We also have a study that came out as far as how in the Mediterranean style eating pattern, that is always one that's top, as far as a recommendation for people to follow. And we have information and research that shows how lean beef can be incorporated into that as well, still having those same heart health benefits by making sure that you are, having your fruits and your vegetables, again, your whole grains, and really just, everything well balanced, everything in moderation.
Wasn't there a study, I think I remember, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I thought there was a study they did for infants.
Oh my
like
gosh,
introducing
the
ground beef
Absolutely.
and infants eating beef,
Absolutely.
whether it was mixed with rice or mixed with mashed up peas or pears or something. But there was a study that showed how beneficial it was to infants, and obviously when they're
starting about 6 months of age.
Okay.
Absolutely. And so it was the eating in the early years information. And 2020 was really a pivotal year in regards to the dietary guidelines.
Yeah.
So we use the dietary guidelines a lot in the work that we do. And it was the first year that they offered authoritative guidance for infants birth to 24 months of age. Most of the time it really would start at age 2 and then go from there. But this was a time where they really looked at the increased need for both iron and zinc in this population. And so, what is a great source of iron and zinc?
Yeah, there you go.
Beef. And so it really is, working with pediatricians, working with providers, working with parents, again, to make them confident
Yep.
in choosing beef. And the thing is that we had an opportunity to work with a speech language pathologist who really highlighted that, introducing appropriate foods at that 6 to 12 months of age that are going to provide those nutrients not only help to really expand their kind of flavors that they like, but also just the developmental things. So where when you introduce that, and they're not like, there's always a choking, people are always worried about a choking hazard, but you're really working on giving them a larger slice that they can really just gum, and they can suck out the nutrients. But then by being able to do that, you develop their jaw. And by being able to develop their jaw, then it correlates to reading scores and to test scores and to speech, and it's amazing. There's a lot of wonderful resources, again, on our website and then Beef It's What's for Dinner, because we want parents to feel confident and to know, again, that really the iron and the zinc that beef provides, especially at that really important age, we want them to know that it is safe to eat. We give them practical ways to avoid choking, and the research is there to support it as well.
And I feel like when I was an infant eating beef, it taught me how to drool.
Absolutely.
I got to smell beef, and I was like, oh. This is nice. And it helped
Your
me
fate was
develop.
sealed.
It what?
Your fate was sealed.
Yeah, my fate was sealed, right? I was destined to be the
You're
beef
destined
dork,
to be a chef.
right?
Destined to be a chef. Well, I was saying that I was the dietitian dork, so I guess maybe that's why we work
there
so
we
well
have it.
together, right?
Well, thank you guys so much for hanging out with
thank
us
you.
tonight. Thank you for joining
Thank you.
us.
It was a joy.
Don't forget, you can find tonight's recipe. We have a link for you in the description section, and then you can head over to cobeef.com, click on the cooking tab. That'll bring you into all the recipes, YouTube videos that we've done, and more. Make sure to subscribe to the Colorado Beef Council's YouTube channel as well, and then you are already here on the Facebook page. So don't forget to share this content with your friends and family. Get them enjoying beef. Next month, it is going to be National Nutrition Month, well, in like 3 days.
I know.
And then
We're
we're talking World of Flavors.
World of Flavors.
So we'll find something cool for you, but stay tuned because we're going to have another fun Friday with beef coming up in March. And I mean, in the meantime, we're probably going to eat
Yes.
a little bit of beef. Camera person, you ready to eat?
It's
I'm
dinner
ready.
time.
All right.
It's dinner time.
Well, thank you
Thank
guys
you,
so
everyone.
much for hanging out with us. Thank you to all of our ranchers and producers for letting us do what we do. We appreciate it. We love supporting you, and thank you so much for all the work you do. I think it's calving season.
It is calving season.
I have seen a lot of my friends. One of my friends actually just posted he is in Florida doing work, right? But he did say on the end of his work post, he's like, meanwhile, my wife and daughter are back calving.
Oh.
And, 5-degree weather here in Denver, but it's what they do.
And it's supposed to get nicer.
Six
Supposed to get nicer. I know. Yes.
All right. You guys have
Thank
a
you.
great,
Happy Friday.
amazing weekend. Happy Friday. Have a great weekend. Enjoy the weather warm up.